We thank you for this opportunity to get together. It is vastly important that we make decisions to help out the residents of our community in this time of dire need and tragedy. Please bring all our armed forces safely home, and God bless Cass County. Amen.
Amen. Joyce?
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lee?
Here.
Commissioner Marquetti?
Here.
Commissioner Leyland?
Present.
Commissioner Barrera? Chair Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Howie? Present. Commissioner Locke? Here. And Commissioner Lawrence?
All right, thank you. We need public comment on agenda items only. Open the floor for public comment. Going once, twice, 3 times. Floor is closed for public comment. Commissioner Leyland.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion on the floor and support. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. I don't need a roll call for that. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. No unfinished business. Our new business is under Alpha, motion 079-24. So motion approves the use of county funds in the amount not to exceed $25,000 in support of disaster relief efforts related to the tornado damage in the Sister Lake, Silver Creek Township area.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
point of clarity, we need to scratch where it says Sister Lakes
Twin Lakes.
and write Twin Lakes.
Oh, my fault.
Okay.
Got it.
Is that a motion to amend?
Yes.
That would be a motion to amend the motion.
And actually, real quick,
So,
if I may, Finance Director Renfro brought this to my attention, and I think this probably does make sense. Under the Uniform Chart of Accounts, a fund, we could establish a fund, it'd be 258 Disaster Contingency Fund. It might make sense to allocate this funding to that, and then that
Yep.
way we can track every expense
Yep.
that's applicable specific to that fund. So the amount wouldn't have to change, but it would essentially be a motion to transfer 25,000 to that disaster contingency fund.
What's the number
for
of
the
it
purpose
again?
of-
To allocate funds to what?
It'd be Fund 258.
258
that.
fund. So the motion, we got a,
Okay.
yeah, we have the motion on, yeah, withdraw it.
I'm going to withdraw my motion.
Got it.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
There it is. Send it.
Motion to approve the use of county funds in an amount of not to exceed $25,000 in support of disaster relief efforts related to tornado damage in Twin Lakes and Silver Creek Township by way of creating the disaster relief fund under the number that the administrator gave us. I suppose.
Section 258.
258, yeah.
Yep.
Second.
Now,
Disaster relief fund.
yeah, got it.
Disaster contingency fund, actually.
Disaster contingency fund.
Yeah.
Close.
Account number 258?
Fund.
Fund
258.
number?
Fund.
I'll go ahead and bring the budget adjustments back on the next
Got
one,
it.
so everything's really clear for auditors later, but this will get us to what we need to do for now.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor and support. For discussion, Ryan and I were in the emergency, and Matt and Ambrosia were in the emergency management office this afternoon, and the discussion was MDOT's out there, and they're going and expending their funds. The county road commission is there, but they're doing it on a voluntary basis. We need to pay them people, so that way they're out there being paid, showing FEMA and the state and MDOT, which is a state, that we're also putting forth the effort
We're
to
still
do it.
up.
You know, and I think that's it in a nutshell, unless Ryan or Matt want
Yeah, I mean,
to.
I think MDOT basically alluded, I mean, they said the decision was outside of their hands specifically at the meeting, but that MDOT takes those things into account. So if you're saying this is an emergency and you've got crews working, extra time, overtime, out there doing things, and then MDOT's also expending resources, that kind of plays into that narrative that, hey, these are essential. But they said, if you're not expending any overtime, whether that's the road commission, the county, et cetera, however that plays out, but MDOT's spending all this extra time, there may get to a point where MDOT says, you know what, if it's not an emergency to you and you're not willing to cover some of this, we may not either. He said that, of course, that may not happen, but you're gambling a little bit, and
Yeah.
I think the road commission as well, you know, they're doing everything they can, but I think it's an important point for us to all kind of share in how we approach this for the good of the community.
And I appreciate their volunteering, but they need to be paid for their efforts.
Yeah.
Need to be on the
I
clock.
agree.
Well, I would hope that this would be done in any township that needed it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
They're going to be paid.
Right.
They're taking volunteers
To
to
do
work.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And,
they're expecting volunteers to work
Right.
for free. They're voluntary basis of who's gonna work tomorrow and Saturday.
and I'd like to put my money where my mouth is instead of thoughts and prayers. Here's the funds also,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, and we don't wanna put, you know, I mean, obviously, much like us, I mean, you know, the road commission has only so much funds they have available for use. I mean, I don't wanna see, you know, future road projects, things like that, put into jeopardy because of
Right.
having to allocate extra resources there. If we can share in those costs, I think that's critical. This funding would also provide for a few other things we're looking at, some portable toilets to get installed for those folks that still don't have power, and as well as serving those emergency workers, so they're not trying to drive around everywhere to find a place to use restrooms.
We're trying to
Extra
get some
stuff.
dumpsters up there for the
Dumpsters.
construction related
Dumpsters,
debris.
work control is gonna be a big one.
Yeah, permitting, all the, everything. We've got FEMA there, well, it's not there, but they're coming there
Mhm.
for the food and water.
Good.
And Ryan and I and a team of 2 or 4 other people are gonna go there today and tomorrow and start the assessment process.
Yeah, that's a big
The-
deal.
The trash collecting there in Union, that, they're really good about, have you called
Dumpsters.
them? Yeah, you could,
Dumpsters.
they're really
That's
good
another
about
good-
donating time and
Yes,
stuff.
they
That's
are.
a good one to call, Matt.
Yeah.
That's very
They,
good.
they're
Yeah.
really good people there.
Yeah.
Our biggest concern was, the brush is gonna get put in the county
Yeah,
brush
American Waste,
place. But the dumpsters, we're asking people just household items. And then when the tree trimming crews come through there, they're just gonna cut and leave and go to the next. We're gonna try to safely coordinate people to come get the firewood instead of fighting it over it. So all these funds that we're gonna approve here or not is to help facilitate that for extra resources to make things available as they come up, because we're still assessing and who knows what's gonna be needed.
Yeah.
And debris removal is gonna be a bit of a challenge. I mean, you have to
Yeah.
separate out, you know, kind of the natural, you know, tree limbs.
Natural from
that kind of stuff from
lumber.
Sure.
building materials, and even within those categories, like,
Let's backtrack a step. So the major reason for allocating these funds is the state has a Section 19 relief fund for emergencies, disasters. And that fund's like $20 million in the hole. The fund is still owed $20 million to make it whole.
From the
So therefore,
tornado
the chances
last
of
year.
Any individual homeowners and or municipalities affected in our area of getting any of those funds is slim to none.
It's called Section 19 DECF Fund. That's Disaster Emergency Contingency Fund.
now,
And
I
it's
think
in the hole.
the gentleman from, was it State Police, I think, said
Yeah.
that, you know, there, who knows, I mean, with it being an election year, you know, there may be some impetus from the legislature. I mean, I think the governor has, you know, requested the legislature to do something. Maybe there is an avenue where some of that happens, and then in that case, maybe there's some avenue to be able to look at some reimbursement here, but I would not anticipate it now, but who knows, that may change. But that's part of the idea of wanting to keep this separately tracked as
Portage
well.
is wrapped, I can't imagine that they'll focus money outside of that. I mean, it's,
Well, as it stands right now, there's no money to focus unless the legislature changes
Yeah,
something.
even for Portage, there's no money under
right,
section 19.
right, so I mean, they've got that. It's bad, I can't see them doing something, if they don't have any money to begin with, I can't see them doing something outside of handling that situation.
All right. So stay on track here with this motion as far as it concerns Cass County. Any further discussion on us? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to thank you both, you two, Matt, and if Manny were here, you all just, you were on top of it, and that's great.
Ryan was more so.
Ironically, we had a tabletop exercise for a disaster coming up in
Yes,
2 weeks, so
we do. Yes,
we
we
got,
do.
This is good,
We got
good
the-
preparation.
had to hit the ground running ahead of
Yeah.
time with a real scenario, which
Yes,
is unfortunate,
indeed.
but, you know, I share your sentiment. I think everybody's done a good job of trying to do everything we
All
can
right.
to help.
Well, since we got money on the table, could I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Marquetti?
Yes.
Commissioner Leyland?
Yes.
Chair Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Howie?
Yes.
Commissioner Locke?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you all. Public comment for anything other than the agenda? On
I've
once,
been hit by
oh,
2 tornadoes.
there you go. Yes, ma'am.
Where we live now.
On
it was a
Juneau
cottage,
Lake.
Was hit by a tornado, and when we lived in Ann Arbor, our house was hit by a tornado.
Jeez.
So I have great tornado experience.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank Under Sheriff Roach. He spent most of the day out directing traffic and
Yeah.
keeping people from sightseeing throughout the lakes, and then he'll be out with us tomorrow for damage assessment too.
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to say I live in Twin Lakes and this is my neighborhood.
Oh.
So I'm very appreciative of
Oh.
everything that, all the efforts that have been going on. I'll be very excited when I can get to and from work and home.
Did you sustain any damage?
The only damage that I actually had at my property was just a tree came down, but not on any structures. I do know we have another employee that is with the county and he did lose a roof on his structure, but I believe everything is going forward. It's a rental property, so.
FEMA gave us a damage assessment, and we're going out there tomorrow with iPads with cell phone service that we're gonna assess, and it sends it straight to,
Good luck getting cell phone service.
yeah.
Right.
Because there isn't. any.
We've got that.
we got that covered.
That's covered too. It'll update when we get cell service.
Manny's got a
Very
flashy
happy
little orange
that
box that
We
takes care of
installed
that.
the full home generator a couple years ago. It's been rather handy.
So everybody can just bring their extension cord?
Yeah,
The
Yes,
water
ma'am.
barrier.
I just want to say, I was here Tuesday night when the storm hit, and I know dispatch was flooded and had to call in extra employees, and I think sometimes they get forgotten to be thanked during emergencies.
Yeah,
I know it was extremely stressful.
Good for you.
Something else I saw was Drive-Through Q, who was Jim Collins, the husband of Leanne Rose, was out at Twin Lakes with his barbecue truck giving out free food,
Oh, bless his heart.
which is huge.
Yes, it is.
And
Oh,
yeah,
my
so
goodness.
he deserves,
Yeah.
everyone deserves a big thank
Yeah.
you.
I had to yell at him to move his cooker out of the road.
But keep it close.
so if you all watch the news, we're on channel 16 and
Yeah, I
22
saw it.
all
I
day,
saw it.
you know, and we're coming together. It's going well.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, Cassopolis strong. Yes, ma'am.
I just had a quick question. So I know there's tons of property damage, but it sounds like all residents were okay and there was no
There was
injuries to people?
No injuries or
No major
no
injuries,
major injury. There were minor injuries, but
Okay.
no major and no deaths reported so far.
Thank goodness.
including
that's-
Portage. No
It's a
fatalities in
serious
Portage either.
blessing. Good.
No, that one was a miracle.
Yeah.
All right, anything else? If not, thank you all. Meeting's adjourned.